in that XP lane. Who is really going to be coming out on top, which is very interesting for me because I feel like the XP lane is something that gets overlooked a lot. It can be a boring lane where not a lot happens and you don't really get the highlights that you want if you're doing your job like perfectly and correctly. You're just pushing your tower, making sure your team has that pressure in that lane. But this has been a big spot of contention as North America's been wondering, Lord T, Yoreshi, who are we going to go with here? And it does look like we're already taking the steps forward from the Ohio brothers to kind of ban out some of those characters that T is known for.
Ooh, a Ling. I never thought we would see the assassin into, but that gives a lot of split push availability. And of course, basic goes to that carry. Once again, we've seen very comfortable on carry, played a lot of M-series games on the carry, but I do believe that Unicutie will have advantages in the lanes at certain power spikes and that sniper advantage for range. I think the Ling plays into Kai very well. You don't have to go head to head and you can ult over him if you need. It also gives the Ohio brothers split push pressure, right? They have the ability, and this means Frederick's in the XP lane. The Farsa and the Ling can move around the map so quickly. BTK can't keep up with that pace.
Yeah, and that is something to be talking about as we get into the late game there, that you can have this split pushing from Ling and still have the presence at the Lord for him to get back there so quickly. And it's going to come down to see how fast that BTK can kind of get the advantage and kind of close it out. We do have a little bit of late game pressure there from Yuna on this. Are we going to stick with that? Is that the chosen one? Is
that's
that
spicy.
That's a great early game pick, especially if you're going to be invading or trying to put the pressure onto best player on that Ling early game, because as most assassins go, you need that early game advantage. If you start lacking it, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble kind of carrying yourself into the mid and late game.
And I think Masha and Cho do that so well, so mobile, so quick, can run into the jungle and cause, honestly, havoc for Ohio brothers. In the draft right now, I really favor BTK's draft. What do you think, Private?
Honestly, we're going to have to see how this Ling is played. It's going to be very interesting, especially with these early rotations. I'll go over and lean over to the side of Ohio brothers here. I do like having that Fredrin taken away from Zhang, and then, as you were saying, the Ling pressure there. Especially now we have Hoon and Shark, who are going to have these massive rotations. If that isn't cut out soon, I feel like this could slip into Ohio's favor.
Yeah, when's the last time we've seen a Masha game, though? This is truly a treat to start off the season here. Masha in game one, day one of the NACT Spring Series. What are we looking at, Private?
Yeah, and this is just going to be an amazing game. We're already talking about it. You see Shark already pressuring onto this purple buff, trying to make sure that they have the vision, have that pressure onto Zane, who sometimes does have a little bit of issues when it comes to this early invades and early pressure that comes onto his teams. We're going ahead, starting some damage on there. Shark's going to be able to get out with about half health there, so no worse for wear.
Yeah, both mid lanes clear out the mid lane and roam and rotate immediately. And I think Farsa will have the advantage moving through, but they need to keep that pressure and make sure Farsa can get out of that mid lane and rotate.
Yeah, we also see Yoreshi already coming here into Yato's going to have to spend that flicker to get away, but great rotations already from the Ohio brothers, who come in here to meet them and make sure that it is not a fair fight. And we're already starting to steal jungle from Zane. Best player trying to come in here is going to go ahead and secure that buff away.
Great moves out of Ohio brothers to set the tempo in this game. Fredrin moves down and overpowers the mid lane, but Zane maybe in a little trouble.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't have his level 4 yet, too. He might not be able to get out of this. You see Hoon coming in here with a stun. That is going to be the first death going down for Zane. T powerless to do anything about it. And that is a 4-man rotation. This is what we were talking about earlier. You have Lolita, Shark on that Lolita. You have Hoon on that Farja, and they're just able to out-rotate and come in strong.
Zane walks into 4 people when the jungle camp was already stolen and kind of like drifts into the enemy team there and gets punished. Now Zane, the leader of his team, is first blood. How will this affect his rotation in the rest of the game for him, as he's a little bit slower in the jungle? He still doesn't have level 4.
Yeah, well, the good thing about it is he's not playing an assassin. So as a tankier jungle, he can allow some of these, a little bit of a looser play when it comes to these deaths that he can take. Great job by the Ohio brothers to go ahead and cut that lane in preparations for this turtle. It's going to be the first one here. You see Joybaj and Yato coming up from the side, trying to create some pressure. Turtles getting dragged over to the side of Ohio brothers. Moba Zane coming in as well. It is going to be a 3v3. You see Lord T coming in from the end. A little little bit of a dance here, a bit of a tango. I'm not sure if both of these guys are singing the same song here, as Joybot's going to go ahead and have to G Kundo out of there. Lord T just investigating. Hoon going to fly in with that wings by wing. Here comes the feathered airstrike. Takes both Joybot and Yato down to about half health, and this is going to mean that this first turtle might be going over to the Ohio brothers. Yeah, Shark goes ahead, clears out the jungle, makes sure that Zane has some pressure on him. So great first engagements by the Ohio brothers so far.
Yeah, almost 700 gold, almost 1,000 gold ahead now in this game as the Ohio brothers taking an early lead, and Zane decides very early to leave that turtle alone and keep farming his jungle. He goes to get blue, he goes to get red while that's going on. He didn't even contest for turtle, and it's a really good switch, but something we don't see often is that BTK is pushed off the first turtle.
Yeah, just an amazing ability right now as we're starting to kind of wait for that mid game. I mean, right now, the early game definitely in favor of a high you make up there. You're actually not really concerned with actually the verse in the XP lane, but going to come down, make sure that his lane is cleared so that he can support his team for these meetups, whether it's something as simple as a Litho Wanderer or all the way into a turtle. Joybot's going ahead, clearing out that bush right there. You see a little bit of damage coming on to Zane as both the Ohio brothers and BTK kind of vying for a little bit of position here in the mid.
Yeah, now the BTK has their ultimates. Akai is still level behind, but they have the heavy spin. They have the Cho ultimate as well to make picks, and everything's going to start to become online. The problem is Ohio Brothers has a very strong advantage. Ling has a level up on Zane, and so that means his retro will always do more damage. He just has, even though Akai has neutral objective control, it feels like Ling kind of is the exception to that.
Yeah, but what I haven't seen just yet is I've been seeing a lot of people caught out of position for the side of BTK. Once we get to these team fights, is it going to be a different story? When we have Yato stealing the ultimates, that might actually change the formation or the platform of these matchups. We're going to see how well that comes under. Yato in a little bit of trouble, does get caught with a stun, and down comes a damn Yato. Almost able to get out of there, but still taken down by Hoon, and that's just a collective effort of this team right now. They are just in Synergy City right now.
And that's going to press more jungle pressure in, and Zane's going to have at least a little bit of people walking into his jungle, seeing where he's out, getting vision on him. And just as Private says, getting caught out of position, Yato gets caught by Lolita and the Farsa and burns the flicker. So that's almost a minute and a half now with no flicker on Yato, and he takes the death. It feels so bad to flicker and still die.
Yeah, and we are going to Lord T gonna get some vision here as we have the turtle on the side of the Ohio brothers, and we have zoned out basically the rest of BTK. Joybot's gonna try to come in, catches a stun for his efforts. Here comes the boom. No, here comes the Hoon laying down that damage with that feathered airstrike to make sure that BTK stays away from the turtle, and another secured objective for the side of the Ohio brothers.
Great zoning ultimates from Hoon here. Not only does he get the zone of that artillery, but he's putting damage into the correct members of every time it's either Joyboy or Yato and pushing them out of the fight. And if they do come to contest, they're a level behind in retreat, and one of their guys is like half health. It's just a great usage from Hoon to set up these team fights using the ultimate early.
Yeah, you do see that BTK trying to lock on the Shark, who safely flickers out of the way. That's 4 members right now trying to rotate out and still not able to find the setups that they need. Right now, Joybot is trying to come down to the bottom lane. Shark doing a great job of collecting this vision here right now, but we do see in the background Hoon coming in with that Farja, trying to make sure that they have some position. It is a 4v3, 4v4 right now. I'm not sure if this is the fight that they want. Joybot is going to have to go ahead and dance his way out. Hoon coming in with that wings by wings. Not able to catch Yato. So a great job by both teams. Nobody got caught yet, but definitely not an advantage for BTK yet.
Yeah, Hoon has 2 kills. He's got the Clock of Destiny completed. He's on to his second item. Boots already completed. Huge damage on Unicutie.
Yeah, Unicutie actually is going to have to reverse and hit those brakes and head back to base there. All that damage coming down, and no towers taken yet, but this is the force that you're getting from the Farsa and the rotations right now. And this is what I was talking about before when it came in those qualifier matches. You saw Hoon on this Farsa. They were just a menace, able to rotate so quickly.
Big plays coming out of Hoon. He's really the leader of this team right now, and honestly making the calls from the mid lane, rotating out. 2-0 on a Farsa is just what he wanted to be. This is what the Ohio brothers drafted for. This early game rotational advantage, and they're pressing it to BTK. BTK has to hang on. They have to find picks with Joybo, who hasn't really been active in the game yet. 0-0-0. Hasn't found a pick on that Cho to make that Yaoi level play.
Yeah, and right now they're kind of on their back legs here. 2 towers already pushed in, none for the side of BTK. Still kind of waiting for that power spike, but I mean, still getting manhandled. Joybot does come in, catches a stun for his effort. Shark doing a great job of making sure he is there to peel for Hoon every single time he lays down that damage. Rest of BTK here, Mobazane and Joybot is going to go ahead and find an escape here. But still, no pressure on the map right now for the side of BTK.
4,000 gold league at the 7.5-minute mark. Huge lead for Ohio Brothers in this first game. And I think a lot of it has to do with whom, but maybe a flicker in. They're zoning out this turret, trying to get even more.
Oh, we do see that heavy spin comes out, but a beautiful petrify.
Oh!
We'll catch him, and we're going to see if we have a Hoon that might be taken out there very quickly. Here comes the Tempest of Blades down, landing onto Joybot's going to take him out there. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but this is the first signs of life that we have seen from BTK, letting the Ohio Brothers know that they are not down and out of this match yet.
Big plays coming out of BTK. Finally, Joybotch finds the Farce in the back, kicks through, and then the stolen Lolita ultimate from Yatsu comes down to pin the kill. They do trade one back, but you're right. It's a sign of life out of BTK. They also, Masha split push the top turret down and gets a little bit of gold for the team.
Yeah, so they're still in it, still trying to kind of macro up here to try to even out that gold. I wouldn't say that they have the advantage yet. They still are behind and still have to watch out for some of those plays, especially coming from Hoon. But a great job from Joybosh to get in there, isolate out Hoon late game where you have the split pushing possibilities. I'm not sure how much more Masha can do, but we're gonna go ahead and jump right back into it. We do see that Numenor Blast coming down onto Yato, jumps the blades on to the damage now. Mobazane actually able to get out of that as well. Joybosh comes in. A beautiful way of the dragon does land on the best player, but does not take him out. Joybaj is going to find a quick escape there. No worse for Ware, just Yato getting taken out there, but you see already, the Ohio Brothers right back onto it, going to go ahead and take another tower with that advantage.
Yeah, I don't know if Yato didn't get the call for pause to be done, but he was not ready for that engage. The Ohio Brothers lay down in the mid lane, and then they instantly rotate over to the side lane to pick another turret. It's a great example of not only playing for kills, but making sure your kills are objective focused. Get a kill, push an advantage, get an objective. And I think the Ohio Brothers right now are a class act in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect any different from the very pinnacle of North America here. 3 members rotating for BTK. Joybaj in a little bit of trouble. Is going to have to go out of the way. Shark with the Numenor Blast does catch Joybaj, and it doesn't look like BTK is going to actually be able to counter this right now, as the Lord's going to be going over to the Ohio Brothers. Mobazane actually in trouble here in this tight little corridor. Might not make it out. In comes a heavy spin, able to go ahead and loosen it out. Tempest of Blades comes down, but is not able to find a target.
Great disengage and not getting punished even further, but right now I don't see that BTK really has an answer for this Lolita Farsa setup. This Lolita sets up on top of the Farsa and dares anyone to come interrupt her and just starts that ultimate. Maybe I flicker, maybe I don't, but at least I'm covering Farsa, and I think it gives such a zone control around Hoon, really allowing him to control and dictate these fights before they even start sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the perfect explanation there, is that when you have that feather airstrike coming down, in comes Shark, you see putting down the damage and the protection for Hoon there. And BTK just does not have an answer for it. And you're exactly right. What do you do when you have the Farja laying down all that damage and then Shark just sitting in the back with that Numenor Blast? He's already going to go ahead and slow you down. Joybot's trying to come in here. We do have a lot of damage to trying to defend this tower. BTK, they still are left to inhibitors. More minions pushing towards mid. Numenor comes in, but Zane comes in with the quick thinking. Is he caught though? Half health right now. You do see a retribution coming out there. Joybaj does jump out there, jumping back in with the little dance. Another feathered airstrike coming down for Hoon. Numenor Blast from Yato does not catch Hoon. No targets there yet. Nobody down. Everybody is able to get away, but a lot of damage and a lot of pressure put onto BTK.
Ohio Brothers with that push threatened an inhibitor, and it's only a hair of HP left, but they don't get it. BTK does defend their inhibitors at least. These Ohio Brothers are 8K gold ahead, 11 minutes. This is an enormous gold league, and that affects itself in itemization. That means more items, more damage, more items, more tankiness. And right now, it's just such a gold advantage coming out from Ohio Brothers. BTK are fighting back from 8K behind.
Yeah, and not just that, but even with this type of advantage, I mean, where do you go from here if you are BTK? I know you're going to try to get Joybot to try to get into that back line to try to isolate somebody, but not at the cost of losing someone. You see, we have a Numenor Blast coming down. Joybot's going to try to get out of it. A big stun landed on, as well as that big boy damage coming from Hoon, putting on there. Heavy spin comes out from Zayn, who might be in trouble. Tempest Blades coming out. He is not enough to catch a target there. You see Basic with that speedy light wheel just putting on the damage to the minions, as we have some rotating up. We haven't synced up the lanes here just yet, but we are starting that stranglehold by refusing all of this jungle from BTK.
You're right. The jungle's been taken away. Zane's been choked out, and he has to share lanes with XP now. They're not even using a Lord to push in. The next Lord's in 20 minutes, Brian.
Yeah, and we do see that again, coming in with that bulwark from Shark. Hoon in the back line, putting on the damage with that feathered airstrike, and this is one inhibitor that has gone down. There's only one left for BTK. JoyBots goes down. Here comes a flicker with that Numenat Blast. Does not catch a target just yet, but the story has been written right now. One inhibitor left from BTK.
That looked like a really bad fight, but the silver lining for BTK is that JoyBots picks the Ling. Best players down for 20 more seconds. Can BTK do anything in this 20-second mark to cement themselves and regain control?
Yeah, well, you see Lord T taking a whole heap of damage from basic here right now. He's going to have to back up to his team there. You're actually doing a great job of zoning out the rest of the players there. Hoon takes a whole lot of damage there, almost half health chunked there from Yuna, and we have started on this Lord. Zane trying to get himself into a great position. A great read by Ohio to zone him out. He can't even get around without me. Look at them already pushing him away from this Lord, allowing Basic to go ahead and put on the damage. Hoon is going to have to back up there. Yureshi trying to play the wall here to back up the rest of BTK, but that allows the rest of the Ohio brothers to take down this next Lord.
It's going to be near on impossible to defend from this next Lord push. It will be a Luminous Lord, and this will be pushing in with only one inhibitor left. What can BTK do to set the map and make sure these waves aren't synced up?
Well, and that's the problem here right now. You're at such a loss. You're at such a gold deficit. You're waiting for the side of Ohio brothers to make a mistake. You can see right here, even the lanes kind of synced up, kind of coming down at the same time. Luminous Lord barreling down through the middle lane. You don't really have it on the far end lanes, which is where you would like it to try to take this top tower, which is the only, I want to say, saving grace for BTK right now. So they can focus their efforts here up at the top and mid lane. Lord is coming in here right now. You do see the focus coming in.
Here we go.
The Ohio Bears come in, conceal play. That is short work for that. Hoon laying down the arsenal for the rest of the Ohio brothers. And Lord T gets us crunched down as a heavy spin. Might be it. This might be the first game going over the Ohio brothers. Chapter 1 of this mega engagement goes to Hoon and his brand new team, the Ohio brothers, over BTK.
Huge game for Ohio brothers. 10,000 gold ahead.